Well, hi, folks. We are speaking to John Hulsey in the United States today. John is an incredibly talented just an incredibly talented artist, full stop, and lives on a wonderful property with his darling wife, Anne. Welcome along to the talk, John. It's my pleasure to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here, Graeme, and see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while. We had a great time with you. We really did. You and Anne are so incredibly talented.
And it's just too short. You know, we didn't really have time to hang out and drink a beer and sit out on the patio.
That's the reason you can come to Australia, without a doubt. Right. So how long ago was it that we actually did film you?
I think it was in 2018. I don't remember.
2018. God, time flies. I can't believe it.
In August, actually.
Yeah. So how long have you been a professional artist for?
So I started my professional career when I was 18, and I'm 68 now. So 50 years ago.
50 years.
I did a commission for, like a lot of artists do, there was a bar restaurant, wanted a bunch of paintings to decorate the walls, and he commissioned me to create these medieval scenes of people drinking grog and big fires roaring, you know, that whole thing. And so I had to have all my friends pose, and I had to research costumes and find all this stuff out. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I think I pulled it off. They were like 4 foot by 3 foot paintings, each one of them. There's about a half a dozen of them. But that's a great way. You know, you just jump in to the water and learn how to swim. You know,
yeah, absolutely. So how did you originally find out about us? I mean, did I just approach you or?
Yeah, I knew about CIYL from the Three Amigos.
Oh, yes. Well, that's one of our most popular shows.
So I've been corresponding with Zabukovic for a while, mostly because he has a TR3 of the same kind of car I learned to drive on.
Oh, okay.
We had, you know, a couple of things in common, and then I started seeing him on your show, along with Alvaro and Herman Pekel, and so when you approached me, kind of out of the blue, I go, oh, I know what CIYL is. And so I immediately opened that email up and started that process.
Oh, fantastic. It was wonderful to have you on and to be on your studio. Now, Anne, your darling wife, is an artist as well, and she's on the other side of the studio from where you are. What a fantastic combination. And you've both been professional artists for years.
Yeah, she's been doing this as long as I have. We both went to art schools, and back in the 70s, they weren't really teaching the fundamentals of painting.
Yeah.
You know, the techniques that you need to know. Realism was out completely. So the struggle was then to actually learn the fundamentals that we didn't get. And that took a long time, actually. But so we're mostly self-taught in oil, watercolor, and pastel, which is not a bad way to go if you have the time.
And so when you actually got the show, I mean, what did you do with it when you got the show? And generally, what's the response been for you as far as being on the series?
Well, it's hard for me to nail down anything concrete, but the first thing I did was I created a YouTube channel for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a wise thing to do. And that was the first video I put up on the channel, and I loaded a bunch of other videos I'd already made up there, and watched the viewership go, which was really exciting. And I don't know if you remember, but Jack Richardson and Company sponsored half the cost.
Yeah.
So they were thrilled to see these, you know, thousands of people every day adding up, watching this thing. So that's advertising impressions that they felt they were getting.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did talk about them during the program, of course, because I use all their paint and brushes and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. And I probably haven't flogged my video to galleries as much as other artists do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still think the value is really strong for any artist to have a professional video made of your work in your studio. You can send this to curators in museums. It's a wonderful icebreaker. It's a wonderful way to show what you can do without having to go through the nitty-gritty, cold interview process that can be so grueling and dispiriting for a lot of artists. You know, you can put it on a thumb drive and just mail it to somebody who's interested. Just
and with what we're doing with it, obviously, because we're not sort of resting on our laurels, is we've just signed up with a company in Singapore that's starting to distribute it in India and Southeast Asia as well. So we're continuing to pass it on to other companies across the world as well. So it's not just a one-off situation that you're on a TV station in, say, America. It continues to go around the globe, and we just continue to promote it all the time, as much as we possibly can.
Well, that's what impresses me about you and your energy and your business plan so much, because, you know, if you've been around a few decades, you tried a lot of advertising media, as I have. Tried advertising in magazines and all those different avenues. You'll try anything, and you spend tens of thousands of dollars doing that. And often these things don't go much further than that one appearance or just several appearances. One year I spent $30,000 on magazine advertising. I didn't sell one painting from it.
Wow.
Which was a hard lesson to learn, but important. So when you came along, I thought, yeah, you know, video is here. It's the present and the future. It beats print all to hell in terms of the number of impressions you can get, and it's always up. It's always working for you. And then when you guys keep getting your distribution net going bigger and bigger and bigger, I just feel like, you know, Graeme's working for us, working for me, almost for free here. So I don't know what'll come out of this, but it's got to be good.
We'll all be remembered, I know that much. So is there any marked or funny stories that have come out of being involved with us at all?
I guess I don't have a lot of stories from the taping, other than just, you know, really pleasant experience that I went through with you. And I have to say, Graeme, over the years, I've been on numerous television interviews, whether I engineered them or somebody came to me. You're one of the most professional, smoothest interviewers I've ever talked to.
Thank you.
You know, it was like a conversation that just flowed. You made it easy for me. It wasn't nervous or tense or anything like it can be when you're on camera. You're on a TV station, completely different experience. Very grueling. So I have to say that, you know, for anybody who wants to take you up on your offer to do this for them, they're going to have a really wonderful experience with it.
Thank you.
It's really worth doing. And if you're a professional artist and you don't have a professional video these days, you've got to get with it, because, you know, this is where the world is.
That's the point. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about your Zoom classes as well. You're obviously, because you're such a great teacher, and to be able to get to, I mean, that's the beauty about video these days, and the connections that we have, is that you can actually get out and show people your skills without them having to be in the same room with you.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is one of the greatest revolutions for artists that's ever happened.
Amazing.
Not just, you know, video and programs like yours, but the ability to connect with the world from your studio. When has this ever occurred in history? It just hasn't been possible.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic shutdown happened, we lost all of our live students that would come to our studio every week. And that, you know, that's a chunk of income that, you know, I was loath to do without. Plus, I miss the contact with my lovely students. It's part of what keeps my energy up, is this teaching. So we pivoted, like a lot of artists did, into Zoom, bought the equipment that we didn't have, and figured out how to teach through live video. It's one thing to teach through a pre-recorded thing. That's darned easy because you can edit. But teaching live is a performance, and we realized, well, we have to set up a broadcasting station and become TV people. That's the first two things you learn. And then if you're a good teacher and you like teaching, then you can adapt pretty quickly. So we're up to 47. We've done 47 programs so far.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And we cover the gamut of every possible subject. I'll show you some of the exercises we've done here.
Yeah, and you've also got some books there as well that you've got that you utilize to teachers too.
Well, that's right. And we have these two little books that Ann and I created. One of them is about nocturnes, which is a very popular subject now. And one of them is about plein air painting in watercolor.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is a special skill. Not everybody can paint outdoors in watercolor.
Yeah.
And so we sell these on the Artist Road store.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, the artistroad.net is our teaching website. So these books go hand in hand with my Zoom teaching because they just have everything in depth that you need to know. And we do some nocturnes. We're going to do one Thursday again. And so if anybody, because it's a compressed 2.5 hours, if they need more information, they can get the book. They can download it for $9.95 or buy the soft cover for $24.95 through the store. It's very easy. And they won't be sorry they did because it fills in all the little gaps that you just can't quite cover in a class like that. Yeah. So we're really into the whole passing on the knowledge thing too.
Yeah.
It's really important to us. This is an interesting exercise. This was Venice, St. Mark's Square. Let me see if I can get this big enough. It's a watercolor. Yeah. And this was a 2.5 hour demonstration, which means I was sweating to get this done.
Middle of summer.
This is from one of the live cameras that the city of Venice has up all over the city. And you can go anytime when the sun's shining or even night, and you can take a screenshot anywhere along the live feed that you like and paint from those.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, they have about 8 or 9 of these cameras up.
Wow, that's amazing. I never even knew that. That's amazing.
Cool. And the day I went to see this view, the camera, they hadn't cleaned the lens in a long time, and it got kind of orange. And I just loved the warm orange light that was on this dirty camera. And I thought, this is better than actually having a clean lens. So I use it as an exercise.
That's
and also
fantastic.
What you can do with these live cams. You know,
that's absolutely amazing. I mean, that opens up a whole new world when you think about all the historical places across the world. My goodness.
Yeah, all the national parks in America have them. You can watch grizzly bears eat salmon, and
that's amazing.
It is amazing, and you know, it's more poignant now because of this lockdown and this quarantine. We just can't get out to these places.
Yeah.
So, again, this technological revolution just feeds back on itself, and as artists, we need to be savvy to these things. So
it's amazing.
This is a watercolor of Pienza, Italy, which is a World Heritage Site where I like to take my workshops.
Yeah.
I have a group of people that like to take my workshops in Europe and trust me, and we go over there and have a ball. So this is the main entrance to Pienza. And I use this as, you know, teaching values in watercolor and how to control them. That's the biggest issue.
That's amazing.
So all watercolors, but here's another tough situation for watercolor, getting these, what they call God rays, crepuscular rays.
Yes.
That's a fun one to learn how to do.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Lots of bad paintings went into this before I got the knowledge to paint like this. You know,
I've got a fair idea of how you did it, but I'm not going to say anything.
There's some tricks, but I share them.
Yeah.
And this is a recent class in Abiquiu, New Mexico. A ghost ranch is there with the George O'Keeffe countryside.
Yes.
And this again is light and shadow and values and watercolor, along with the anatomy of the horses.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so these are 2.5. Now the drawing's on, but then the painting in 2 hours, basically, showing them how to walk through this and get it all done.
That's fantastic. So if anybody wants to come in, what's the address that they use to get in touch with you?
They should go to the artistroadstore.com/workshops if they want to get right there immediately. Okay. But they could go to the store and look around too. There's lots of cool stuff in there to look at. And the only things we put in the store, I would say, are things that we use ourselves and know and trust and believe in. So it's not like a shop full of just junk. You know, these are professional things in there.
And I'd have to say that you and Anne are two of the most talented people that I've ever come across in my career, and I would highly recommend any of our viewers to go in and be part of it. Because you're really, really good at what you do. My goodness. So, and also you've got a show coming up as well of your own work.
Yeah, I've arranged for a solo museum show here in St. Joseph, Missouri, at a beautiful, beautiful museum. Ann and I showed there 7 years ago, I think, in a duo show. Mm-hmm. And they've given me the main floor, which is huge. So my job now is to create enough work and keep it, not sell it, so that I can fill the show out. I'll probably have to have in excess of 40 large paintings for the show, but it's something I've been thinking about a long time. It's based on this property where I live. It's called Transcendence. And I just wanted to create a legacy, an artistic legacy for myself as I'm getting older, and do the best possible work of my life in this show, and show what, even though I live in a place, Kansas, that not many people think of for landscape painting, there's incredible beauty here, as is anywhere you go in the world. And so that's really kind of the focus of the show, is, you know, how an artist can delve into a subject and receive energy from it and information from it, and then put it into the painting, and this whole thing just blossoms and evolves.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can remember very well your property. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. It really was. And
really
your darling wife, Anne, what a fantastic woman she is as well. But
is.
John, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on and talk to us today. And if anybody wants to go in and talk to John about his Zoom classes or his work, I mean, I'd highly recommend it. He's a wonderful human being. And I'm just so glad that we got to meet you on the journey. It was just wonderful. It really was.
It has been wonderful, I'll tell you. If you got a second, I'll spin around and show you the studio.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's have a look.
So there's part of the studies I'm saving from the museum show, stacks and stacks and stacks of plein air paintings. And I'm gonna have to walk around so I can see this. And then there's some watercolors on the drawing table.
What a fantastic studio. It's one of the best I've ever seen.
This is my plein air setup here, with the easel and everything. And then there's some larger paintings, and then we swivel back around, come back to my my double stack best easel. It's got, I love this easel because you can put 2 layers of paintings on it and work at them.
That's fantastic.
And then back around to home there. Swivel myself around. So,
and then Anne's on the other side. It's like a U-shaped studio, and Anne's on the other side.
Oh yeah, if we had more time, I'd walk you over there. She's always working on that. And she's a flower genius when it comes to painting flowers.
You guys are amazing, absolutely amazing. So, well, and my sincere thanks for coming on and talking to us, both. You're a darling human being, and I'm very glad you came into our life anyway.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure, and a pleasure to know you both. It's been, you know, artists need all the help they can get.
Thank you so much, John.